Hello, my name is Simone Val. I was born February 3rd, 1909, in Paris, France, after my parents moved to Paris after the German annexation of Alsace-Lorraine. I was born into a middle-class family of Bernard and Salomeo Weil. My father, he was a quite successful doctor. I had a brother, Andre, who I was very close to as a child, and he became a successful mathematician. Unfortunately, I passed away August 24th, 1943, at age 34, in Ashford, England, from tuberculosis and cardiac failure while already weakened from voluntary starvation, as I vouched not to eat more than the minimum amount of food my fellow soldiers ate in World War II. I was quite an intelligent child. I learned ancient Greek by the age of 12 and later learned Sanskrit. I wanted to become a doctor when I grew up. However, my father disapproved of my plans, even though he was a doctor. So I went to school at Lycée Henri IV in my teenage years, then to the University of Paris, and later went to the École Normale Supérieure in 1928. During this time at École Normale Supérieure, I was nicknamed the Red Virgin or the Martian because of my very controversial opinions that I had. I was studying philosophy where I gained my DES, which is the French equivalent to a master's, and I received my aggregation, meaning I was able to become a professor. After graduating, I became a teacher of philosophy at an all-girl secondary school called Le Puy. I also worked at Saint Etienne to lecture minors about philosophy. I ended up taking 9 months off of work to work as an unskilled labor worker in 1934, where most of my paychecks went there, in places other such as mines. My family and I then moved to the south of France, and from there on, in 1942, we all moved to America, where I lived in New York City, specifically Harlem, with a lot of less fortunate people. Later, I went to London to join the French resistance. We were collections of various groups who fought against the Nazis. While in London, I wrote The Need for Roots, a treatise on human needs, which declares our duties towards mankind and how we should treat other people. I was influenced by many famous philosophers such as Plato, Karl Marx, Immanuel Kant, Socrates, and that's just to name a few, but I was mostly influenced by Plato. I personally believe that regarding God, that evil serves its purpose to drive us out of ourselves and go to God. Even though I was born in a Jewish family, I still practice in Christian beliefs, and while I was in New York, I ended up going to church regularly. So I also interlaced traits of Roman Catholicism and Platonism with other pre-Christian sources. Quite a few people would say that I have a lot of feminist attributes because I cared more about my intellectual, political, and humanitarian goals rather than society's expectations of women in my day. But I had to be determined if I wanted to be taken seriously as a philosopher. Ever since I was a child, I had been an activist. At age 6, at the dinner table, I vowed never to eat sugar because sugar is never supplied to our soldiers. I would also never eat more than the minimum amount of food a soldier was given, which is what I said before when I said that I was doing a voluntary starvation. However, when I passed away, I was doing the voluntary starvation, but it was also very difficult for me to eat while I had tuberculosis. And there's many letters from me to my friend Simone de Beauvoir, where I was telling them that I was trying and I was asking nurses to get food, but unfortunately I wasn't able to digest it properly. And on the other note, there was a movie made after me called An Encounter with Simone Weil that is a biography about my life, opinions, and worldviews. My name is Simone Weil. That is the type of philosopher that I am, and that's my life story.